In part 4 of acid-base balance, we had seen that we have got very efficient, very effective regulatory mechanisms which maintain the pH of body fluids. And they are able to maintain the pH despite continuous challenges. The challenges are in the form of abnormal formation of acids and bases, abnormal entry of exogenous acids and bases, or abnormal excretion of acids and bases. Sometimes these challenges become very severe. For example, there may be a severe change in the rate of formation of endogenous acids or bases. There may be a severe change in the entry of exogenous acids or bases, or a severe change in the excretion of acids and bases. In such situations, the regulatory mechanisms may not be able to maintain the pH, and the pH either increases above the normal range or it decreases below the normal range. For diagnosis of acid-base disorders, we measure the pH of blood. And when the pH of blood decreases below the normal range, the condition is known as acidosis. And when the pH of blood rises above the normal range, the condition is known as alkalosis. Acidosis may be respiratory acidosis or metabolic acidosis. Alkalosis may be respiratory alkalosis or metabolic alkalosis. We had looked at respiratory acidosis and respiratory alkalosis in part 4. In this part, we are going to look at metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. We had seen that the major buffer in blood is the bicarbonate carbonic acid buffer. And as long as the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid is 20:1, the pH will be maintained at 7.4. But when the regulation fails, the bicarbonate to carbonic acid ratio gets altered. Because of this alteration, the pH of blood either decreases or increases and a disorder results. The disorder may be acidosis or it can be alkalosis. A decrease in the pH of blood, a decrease below the normal range, is known as acidosis, and an increase in the pH of blood above the normal range is known as alkalosis. The change in pH can be either because of a change in carbonic acid concentration or it can be due to a change in bicarbonate concentration. When a change occurs in carbonic acid concentration in blood, the resulting disorder will be either respiratory acidosis or respiratory alkalosis. The ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid can change because of an alteration in bicarbonate concentration also. This will also change the pH of blood, and the resulting disorder is known as metabolic acidosis or metabolic alkalosis. In this way, a change in pH of blood because of altered concentration of carbonic acid in blood produces respiratory acidosis or respiratory alkalosis, and a change in pH of blood because of an altered bicarbonate concentration produces metabolic acidosis or metabolic alkalosis. When the concentration of bicarbonate in blood decreases, the pH of blood will decrease. And this condition is known as metabolic acidosis. So metabolic acidosis results from a decrease in bicarbonate concentration in blood, which in turn decreases the pH of blood. Metabolic alkalosis is a condition in which the concentration of bicarbonate in blood is increased, and this results in an increased pH of blood. When metabolic acidosis or metabolic alkalosis develops, the respiratory mechanism tries to compensate the condition. The compensation is more effective in chronic disorders, the disorders which develop slowly over a prolonged period. But the compensation is never 100%. We will first look at metabolic acidosis. This is the commonest disorder of acid-base balance, and it can result from a number of causes. It can be because of increased production of endogenous acids, the acids which are normally produced in our body. It can be because of decreased excretion of endogenous acids. The body fails to excrete the endogenous acids in normal amounts. It can be because of entry of exogenous acids, excessive entry of exogenous acids, or it can be because of abnormal and excessive loss of bases from the body. We can divide metabolic acidosis into two types depending upon the anion gap in plasma. One type is metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap. The second type is metabolic acidosis with increased anion gap or high anion gap. Anion gap is the difference between the plasma concentrations of commonly measured cations and commonly measured anions. The commonly measured cations or the principal cations are sodium and potassium. The commonly measured anions or the principal anions are chloride and bicarbonate. If we add up the concentrations, plasma concentrations of the two principal cations, that is sodium and potassium, and likewise we add up the concentrations of the two principal anions, that is fluoride and bicarbonate, we will find that the sum of sodium and potassium concentration is higher than the sum of fluoride and bicarbonate concentration. And the difference between the concentrations of the two principal cations and two principal anions is known as the anion gap. And in normal persons, this gap is about 10 to 20 millimoles per liter or 10 to 20 milliequivalents per liter. Sometimes the concentration of potassium is not taken into consideration while calculating the anion gap. So the equation becomes sodium minus chloride and bicarbonate. In this case, the normal range of anion gap will decrease by about 4 milliequivalents or 4 millimoles per liter. The anion gap in plasma is not a real gap. In any solution, the concentration of anions is always equal to the concentration of cations. In plasma also, the total concentration of anions is equal to the total concentration of cations. The difference that we find or the gap that we find is actually the concentration of unmeasured anions in plasma. These anions are present in plasma, but we don't measure their concentration. So anion gap equals the concentration of unmeasured anions in plasma. The unmeasured anions are pyruvate, sulfate, phosphate, etc. And a major contribution is made by the proteins which are present in plasma. In the basic medium of plasma, the proteins exist as anions, but they are unmeasured anions. So the gap between the sum of sodium and potassium concentration and sum of chloride and bicarbonate concentration is actually the concentration of unmeasured anions in plasma. We will first look at metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap. Metabolic acidosis occurs because of a decrease in plasma bicarbonate concentration. So the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma is decreased, but the anion gap is normal because there is a reciprocal increase in chloride concentration. So the decrease in plasma bicarbonate concentration is matched by an increase in plasma chloride concentration. And since there is an increase in the concentration of chloride in plasma, this condition, metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap, is also known as hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis. This type of metabolic acidosis can occur in a number of conditions. It can occur in diarrhea, it can occur in gastrointestinal fistula, it can occur in intestinal obstruction. In all these three conditions, the decrease in bicarbonate occurs because of abnormal loss of intestinal secretion. Intestinal secretion is rich in bicarbonate. So this loss of bicarbonate from the gastrointestinal tract results in a decrease in plasma bicarbonate concentration. Renal tubular acidosis is an inherited condition in which the renal tubules fail to secrete hydrogen ions, and when hydrogen ions are not secreted, the return of bicarbonate from glomerular filtrate to plasma is also decreased. So because of this decreased return of bicarbonate from glomerular filtrate to plasma results in decreased concentration of bicarbonate in plasma. Administration of ammonium chloride or any acidifying salt also results in decrease in bicarbonate concentration in plasma. Inhibitors of carbonic anhydrase are sometimes used as diuretics. If this enzyme is inhibited in the renal tubular cells, the conversion of carbon dioxide and water into carbonic acid will be inhibited. If carbonic acid is not formed, the formation of bicarbonate will be decreased, and there will be decreased return of bicarbonate to plasma from the renal tubules. So in this way, all these conditions result in a decrease in the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma. But there is a reciprocal increase in the concentration of chloride, and therefore the anion gap remains normal. If we look at blood chemistry in metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap, when the disorder begins, there is a decrease in the concentration of bicarbonate in blood or plasma. There is a reciprocal increase, equal increase in the concentration of chloride in plasma. PCO2 is normal. So, when bicarbonate is decreased and PCO2 is normal, the pH of the blood is decreased. So, these are the changes that we find in blood chemistry at the beginning of metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap. When metabolic acidosis develops, compensation is done by the respiratory mechanism. The respiratory mechanism tries to compensate metabolic acidosis by restoring the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid. The respiratory mechanism cannot affect the bicarbonate concentration. It can affect only the carbonic acid concentration by increasing or decreasing the elimination of carbon dioxide in the expired air. So respiratory compensation occurs by way of hyperventilation to decrease PCO2. Hyperventilation will increase the elimination of carbon dioxide, and therefore PCO2 will decrease. And when PCO2 decreases, the concentration of carbonic acid will decrease. So the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid will return towards normal, though it will not become completely normal. The decrease in PCO2 is about 1.25 millimeters of mercury for every 1 millimole per liter decrease in bicarbonate concentration in blood. The second type of metabolic acidosis is metabolic acidosis with high anion gap or increased anion gap. In this case also, the primary disturbance is a decrease in bicarbonate concentration in blood. But there is no change in the chloride concentration. The concentration of chloride remains normal and therefore anion gap increases. And this anion gap increases because the unmeasured anions, the abnormal anions which are not measured, increase in concentration. So increase in anion gap is because of the increased concentration of unmeasured anions. This type of metabolic acidosis can occur in a number of conditions. One condition is ketoacidosis. It may be ketoacidosis due to diabetes or ketoacidosis due to starvation or alcoholic ketoacidosis which occurs when there is sudden withdrawal of alcohol. In any type of ketoacidosis, the concentration of acetoacetic acid and beta hydroxybutyric acid increases, and these two keto acids are neutralized by bicarbonate. So there is a decrease in the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma because bicarbonate is used up in neutralizing the keto acids. In uremia or renal failure, the renal tubules fail to secrete or excrete hydrogen ions in tubular fluid. And at the same time, the return of bicarbonate from the tubular fluid to plasma is also decreased. And this decreases the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma. In lactic acidosis, bicarbonate is used to neutralize lactic acid, and this decreases the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma. In salicylate intoxication, in the early stages, salicylate stimulates the respiratory center, leading to hyperventilation. But in late stages, salicylic acid itself as a chemical entity has to be neutralized, and bicarbonate is used up in neutralizing salicylic acid, which leads to a decrease in the concentration of bicarbonate. Then abnormal and excessive entry of some exogenous acids or the compounds which form acidic metabolites in the body. These include formic acid, oxalic acid, ethylene glycol, paraldehyde, methanol, etc. So these compounds are either acidic or they are metabolized in the body to form acids, and these acids have to be neutralized. The neutralization is done by bicarbonate. So the concentration of bicarbonate decreases because it is utilized to neutralize the acids or the acid forming chemicals. If we look at the blood chemistry in metabolic acidosis with increased anion gap, when the disorder begins, there is a decrease in the concentration of bicarbonate in blood. The concentration of chloride is normal, PCO2 is normal, and therefore pH is decreased. So a decrease in bicarbonate concentration along with a normal PCO2 results in a decrease in pH of blood. The compensation is done by the respiratory mechanism. The respiratory mechanism tries to restore the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid. The primary change was a decrease in bicarbonate concentration. So the respiratory compensation tries to decrease the concentration of carbonic acid or PCO2. So compensation occurs by way of hyperventilation. The rate and depth of respiration increases, and this will result in increased elimination of carbon dioxide. And when elimination of carbon dioxide is increased, PCO2 will decrease and carbonic acid concentration in blood will also decrease. The compensatory decrease in PCO2 is about 1.25 millimeters of mercury for every 1 millimole per liter decrease in the bicarbonate concentration. So because of this decrease in PCO2, the bicarbonate to carbonic acid ratio returns towards normal, but it doesn't become exactly normal. Another disturbance of acid-base balance is metabolic alkalosis. Metabolic alkalosis occurs because of a rise in the concentration of bicarbonate in plasma. And this rise can be either because of loss of acids from the body or because of an excess of bases in the body. As far as loss of acids is concerned, it can be a loss of hydrochloric acid from the gastric juice, which can occur in severe vomiting. It can also be because of prolonged gastric aspiration, or it can be because of excessive use of antacids. The antacids neutralize the hydrochloric acid present in the gastric juice, or it can be because of a potassium deficit. Potassium is mainly an intracellular cation. So when there is potassium deficit, the concentration of potassium in the intracellular fluid decreases, and then the hydrogen ions move from the extracellular compartment into the intracellular compartment, and this can result in alkalosis. If we look at the blood chemistry in metabolic alkalosis, when the disorder begins, the concentration of bicarbonate in blood is high. There is a reciprocal decrease in the concentration of chloride in blood. PCO2 is normal. So when bicarbonate concentration is high and PCO2 is normal, the pH is increased. The pH of blood is increased. The compensation is done by the respiratory mechanism. The respiratory mechanism tries to restore the ratio of bicarbonate to carbonic acid, and it does so by decreasing the rate of respiration, by decreasing the depth of respiration, so that the elimination of carbon dioxide from the lungs decreases. Because of hypoventilation, the elimination of carbon dioxide from the lungs is decreased. And when elimination of carbon dioxide decreases, PCO2 in blood increases. This in turn will increase the concentration of carbonic acid in blood. The increase in PCO2 is about 0.75 millimeters of mercury for every 1 millimole per liter increase in bicarbonate. So because of a compensatory increase in the concentration of carbonic acid, the bicarbonate to carbonic acid ratio returns towards normal, but it doesn't become completely normal. We will now summarize the changes in blood chemistry in different acid-base disorders. We will look at the pH of blood. We will look at the primary change in blood chemistry which brought about the change in pH of blood. And we will look at the compensatory change which occurs later on. If we look at respiratory acidosis, the pH of blood is decreased. The primary change which has brought about a decrease in the pH of blood is a rise in PCO2, and the compensatory change which occurs later is a rise in bicarbonate concentration in blood. In respiratory alkalosis, the blood pH is increased. The primary change is a decrease in PCO2, which causes a rise in blood pH. The compensatory change which occurs later is a decrease in bicarbonate concentration. In metabolic acidosis, the pH of blood is decreased. The primary change is a decrease in bicarbonate concentration, and the compensatory change which occurs later is a decrease in PCO2. In metabolic alkalosis, the pH of blood is increased. The primary change is a rise in bicarbonate concentration, and the compensatory change which occurs later is a rise in PCO2. Sometimes we find a mixed acid base disorder in the same patient. The same patient may have two or more different diseases affecting acid base balance independently and in different ways. So, in such patients, we can have a very confusing type of blood chemistry because of mixed acid base disorder. For example, we have a patient with uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. Uncontrolled diabetes mellitus can result in ketoacidosis, and this will be metabolic acidosis. But if the same patient develops severe vomiting, vomiting will result in loss of hydrochloric acid, and this can produce metabolic alkalosis. So we will have metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis in the same patient at the same time. Or we may have a patient with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. This patient can develop respiratory acidosis because of retention of carbon dioxide, because of hypoventilation. But if this patient has severe vomiting also, vomiting will produce metabolic alkalosis. So we will have a combination of respiratory acidosis and metabolic alkalosis in the same patient at the same time. And in such mixed acid base disorders, the compensation may be inadequate, or conversely, the compensation may be excessive. So this completes our discussion on acid base balance. Thank you.